Iron sharpening iron, hit a spark when we speak. Stronger together, yeah, we building each week. Each one reach one, now the whole world know. Big Jack story time, Walt talks, let's go.
All right, welcome to the Iron Sharpening Iron Show. I'm your man, Big Jack. This is where we prove we are stronger together, that if each one would reach one, we can all grow and glow. And I want to say right now to each and every one of you out there, happy Easter. Happy Easter, and thank you for taking your time to come out and hang with us on this holiday. I know a lot of people have probably went out to church or somewhere else and spent time with their family and enjoying this day. And I thank you for taking the time to be with us today. Also, I want to say congratulations to UCLA, the women's basketball national champions. And so I just want to say thank you for those. If it was a spoiler for those, I apologize. That's a spoiler. So you should have watched the show or watched the game. It was a wonderful game if you're a UCLA fan. But if you was a South Carolina fan, you're probably pulling your hair out. So I wanted South Carolina to win. But, you know, hey, it's all good. So congratulations to UCLA. And the NCAA Women's National Championship in basketball. It was the first time in NCAA era that UCLA have won the championship. And that's hard to believe because you hear so much about UCLA, but first time that they ever done it. So congratulations again to them. I got a wonderful guest for you today. I'm going to tell you right now, my man Walt Talks is taking the day off. He's not going to be with us today. So, you know, because it is Easter, you know, and I'm going to have to cut his pay a little bit because of that, but it's all good. But nah, for real. This is a time to spend with your family, but then at the same time, the show has to go on, and we got a wonderful guest. So I'm looking forward to talking to him. Have you ever in your life, really wanted to get into acting? Did you always say, man, I could be an actor, I could be a singer, I can get in TV, I can be in film and things like that? Have you ever had that desire? I know when I was younger, I always thought I could do it. I thought I could, if that person is acting, I can do it. And so today we're going to learn so much about it. So I'm looking forward to our guest today. And so I'm not even going to waste any more time. I'm going to get him up on the show. So get him up on the stage, and give me 1 second. Let's get him up here. All right, my man Eric, how you doing, sir?
Good. How are you? Again, thank you for having me on the podcast this evening.
Oh, no, more than welcome. Thank you for being here. This is the Iron Sharpening Iron Show. I am your man, Big Jack. My co-host, Walt Talks, is not here today, so it's just me and you. But I'm sure we'll get through that with no problem. So just letting you know right now, we are live on YouTube. We're live on Facebook. We're live on Twitch. And then once this show is over, we'll make some cuts and put some shorts up on TikTok, Instagram, and all the other social media platforms. Because I think you got a great message, and I want to get it out to the people. So again, thank you for being a guest on the Iron Sharpening Iron Show.
Thank you. And yeah, I mean, again, acting is one focus, but also working in film festivals, entertainment events, music festivals is really has been my focus. But I did start in learning theater. Theater was really my background when I as young, going into getting older through high school and then in college. And I got involved with community theater as well as college theater. And my background was theater into casting. I did a lot of internships in casting. And then I got involved with the film festival realm. And that's sort of my, since 1996 to present, after I graduated high school. Yes.
Well, I guess that was a little mini introduction of yourself. So, and which is all cool. So, Eric, tell me, if you don't mind, where are you located? What's the area you're in right now?
So I'm in upstate New York, in Saratoga Springs, New York. I actually grew up here, but I have lived in other locations around the U.S.
All right. Right. No, that's cool. So now the song says, if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. And they're talking about New York. So is that Is that true? Is that true when you're talking about in the acting world or getting into theater, that that's a good spot to start for people?
I mean, again, I think they're focusing on New York City.
Mhm.
That's New York City is really considered. I think that's what the song represents. But I don't, again, I think it doesn't matter where you come from as long as you get involved and you try your best and you learn how to, you learn by experience and auditioning and trying to be in different plays for
Okay.
sure.
So when should a person start? When do you think is a good time to start? Is that, at birth, or, should the parents be pushing their kids at 1 and 2? I mean, I see that a lot. So what's a good time in your opinion?
I think, I guess it really depends. As a child is one way, but also as, a lot of people get into acting older, as adults, because they just want to, I think it's a great way to learn how to be more expressive and communicative and, get more comfortable in general. And, I think, no matter if it's theater or getting involved with film, television, commercials, voiceovers, industrials, even modeling, like all of it is a great avenue for an individual to get involved with, male or female. And yeah, so I look at it that way.
So what's a way? I mean, how would someone find out about uh, even to get into it? I know, like when I was in school, so I was in high school or even elementary school, they had theater and we put plays on. So that was one way. But if I wasn't in school, how would I find out about an opportunity to get my foot into the industry?
So for theater, there's a lot of community theaters that are in different towns and cities. There's different groups that focus on acting. It's like, from meetup groups, even Facebook has groups, through social media. You can definitely connect with other fellow thespians. And for film and television, I mean, for that, you can go to your local film commissions in through geography from your town or your city. Of course, going to college, no matter if it's private or public, private schools definitely have more of a focus, where public schools do offer courses as well. So it's, researching the schools out there. And acting coaches are great ways. There are, the focus here is acting. There are acting companies like casting directors that are around the US. You can get referrals through other actors, through photographers. Again, there's so many different ways, but to get involved with not acting and say you want to work on a film festival or work in a casting company, internships and volunteering is the key to those, is to break in.
So help me understand, what is a film festival? What does that mean when you're saying a film festival?
So film festivals, again, there are, I think, between 12 to 15,000 film festivals internationally. They've grown. Basically they're separated by genres. And for example, a filmmaker will submit their short or their feature film, and by the different genre of the festival, or there's general film festivals too that offer, different genres within the festival. They screen, films at the festivals, and basically there's a programmer or a board that watches these films, picks the best films that will be chosen to screen at the film festival. There's also educational panels and seminars that take place that educate filmmakers on film distribution, film financing, screenwriting, casting, public relations, marketing. And so that's the educational aspect for filmmakers and actors. And then there's different galas or network receptions that take place. So that is basically a film festival. And it takes, some days they're 1 to 2 days, or they're longer lasting. And they take place all over our country and all over other countries as well.
Oh, wow. So now, what's your part in that? I know you said you've done film festivals or you help put them together. So what's your part in the film festival?
So my education started while I was going to Emerson College in Boston. And my first experience was on a fundraiser in Boston for the Nantucket Film Festival, which I volunteered at. And that was, like I said, a fundraiser to raise money for the Nantucket Film Festival. And then after I finished at Emerson in Los Angeles, I finished my internship. My girlfriend at the time asked me if I was ever at Sundance or been to Utah, and she said she volunteered there and asked me to sign up. So I signed up, and back in 2001, I was a crowd liaison at the Egyptian Theater in Park City, Utah. And as basically, Sundance was the best lesson, the best education. It taught me about diversity inclusion in film festivals. It also taught me that there's a major amount of networking that takes place at that film festival, and you learn a lot about the entertainment industry through different professions.
Wow. So now I guess I'm trying to figure out how I get my foot into the Sundance Film Festival. So if I was an actor, what would I just reach out to you? How would that work?
First of all, I think you need to start off by, first you got to find a filmmaker that's gonna, you have to audition for the film. Mm-hmm. And then no matter if it's a short or a feature, and it's, there's a long process. I don't recommend, a filmmaker to submit right away to Sundance. I think they should submit their short or features to other film festivals to sort of get the practice and see how the response is on the film. Sundance is very, they're very, how do I explain it? Like, you need to work your way up to Sundance is how I explain, work your way up to Sundance.
Now that's a good point. So I appreciate you saying that. So Sundance is on the higher tiers. That's the top tier, I guess. Film.
It's
festival.
One of them in our country, and it's definitely sort of the grandmother, grandfather, whatever you want to call it. Yeah.
Right. So if someone said they was on at Sundance, they at the top. They did something. That's not a you didn't accidentally get featured at Sundance. That was you one of the top performers or top movies or shows. Is that if I'm hearing right?
Correct. Your film has definitely moved ahead. Correct.
So now, with that being said, and because I don't know, and if I wanted to get into it, would say what's the low end? I'm not saying that they're low, but a beginner spot. What should I try to reach out to?
Depending on the format and the focus of the film, and what the film's about. I would go to filmfreeway.com, and then you start researching the different genres of film festivals. And then you see how it relates to the festival. And that's where you would submit, from there's 1-year film festivals that are just starting out to 30-year film festivals. So, again, it's the filmfreeway.com is the best way to go for that.
All right. Filmfreeway.com. So filmfreeway.com. Okay. All right. So now, is there a cost for me to submit? Or
yes. Yep.
Okay.
Every festival has a certain cost to their submission process.
Okay. So now with music, I've heard of like Tiny Desk, where a lot of bands or musicians send their video in a Tiny Desk, and they get judged, and you hope that you can make the list. Right. So is it like that? Is that how it works for a film festival, where you might get thousands of submittals, but only, like you say, 20 going to get picked? Or what's that process?
Every film festival is different with their submission process. And again, it goes through the programmer or the board there's like a board or a group of people that watch the films. It also depends on their budget, how many films they can screen and how long the festival is. Usually they'll show more short films than features, because of course features are longer and it costs more. Again, like I said, it's usually more short films that will be shown at a festival than features.
All right. All right. I just want to thank everybody that's tuning in. We're here on the Iron Sharpening Iron Show. Got my man Eric here talking about film festivals, the ins and the outs, the behind the scenes, and we're going to get a little bit deeper in with it. So I just want to say thank you all for hanging out with us today, and happy Easter to you all. And as we talk, so I know you said the Sundance is in the Utah area. So
it's actually moving. It's moving to Colorado.
okay.
2026 was the last year in Park City, Utah.
So how long or how many years was it in Utah before now that it's moving?
I don't have that information, but I think it was around 1980 to 81 that it was started.
Wow. Yeah.
But I would have to look the actual date.
No, that's that right there. Even if so, it didn't just pop up. It's been there for a while, and
it has been there for a while,
right? So, what's in your experience with dealing with Sundance? I'm just going to do that. What's the I guess I'm guessing on this. And what's the youngest artist that submitted something that it made your list that you know of? Do you have that answer?
I don't have that answer because I never worked for the film festival after my volunteer work in 2001. I started producing events for different organizations, and they were basically either networking parties or different educational events that took place during Sundance.
Oh, okay. So, and I appreciate that. So now, how does that work? What is a networking event like? So I'm thinking about going to Sundance. I don't know if my stuff is going to be on screen or not, but I'm going there. What should I look for as a artist? What should I look for? What's some of the things I want to get into?
Number one would be networking with other filmmakers, networking with different sponsors, networking with agents, networking with everyone you can to help your focus, either your hobby or your career, depending on where you're at. And then looking for different, there's a lot of parties that take place during the film festival. And then there's a lot of educational panels from the films that are being screened there that year. A lot of the filmmakers, producers, directors, and screenwriters have their panels on the film. They're called Q&As, and there's a lot of Q&As that take place. And then there's other panels that focus more on like a certain topic that surrounds filmmaking.
All right, no, that's cool. Now, I know networking. I'm assuming networking isn't free, so I want to go. You just don't show up? Is it a sign up or a sign up date or something like that to even get yourself there, to even walk in the door?
So for Sundance, a lot of people will go. You need to first pay for your airline tickets and your hotels, your Airbnb. So, that's a cost right there. Mm. And then, of course, your transportation and your food. So if that's taken care of, there are a lot of people that just go to, watch movies, and, there's different passes that are part of Sundance. So you can watch the movies and you can go to a lot of other events. So there's that aspect. Back to me, you can volunteer, and they do a lot for their volunteers. I think volunteering at Sundance is an incredible opportunity because they really show their volunteers it's a great experience, and you meet a lot of the other volunteers who are also into the same love of film as also filmmakers. So, going to watch movies, volunteering, or possibly doing a sponsorship at Sundance and, paying to be a sponsor is another avenue.
Okay. All right. So what are some of the things that we don't see? We see in the film, what is the bright lights, the red carpet, the Oscar, holding it in my hand when it's all said and done. But there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes that people don't know. So what are some of the things that you could share with us about the behind the scenes?
So let's focus for filmmakers. I think it's important that the focus should be also given to all the production and crew, sound, lighting, gaffer. I think sometimes people that don't understand there's a lot that takes place in film, working on a movie, and they deserve as much credit as the producer, directors, screenwriters, and the actors. The crew deserves more of a, credit and congratulations. And I think that's something that people don't really see that watch movies. They sort of just don't understand that there's a lot of people that make films. It's not just the main 3 or 4 or 5. So that's important. For me, when I'm fundraising for a film festival, I get a lot of rejection. It's part of my job, but I deal with it because, for me, people spend money because they want to support the community, they want to support art, or their goal is to sell products and services. Those are 3 different aspects of why they'll spend money to sponsor. But rejection is part of my job, no matter if it's going after a corporation or a small business. So that's something people don't understand. And I think for filmmakers just breaking in or who are working on submitting films, that, not giving up, and that there are so many film festivals to submit to, that, don't give up, keep on submitting, and eventually something will happen. Also, I think for filmmakers is that, a lot of filmmakers learn the focus. They learn how to make a film, no matter if it's a short or a feature, but they don't know how to get people in seats at the theater. And I think it's important to learn about public relations and marketing because, that's the most important, is to have a full house and to learn the different media outlets where the film festival is, and to focus on social media, really promote on all social media platforms that their film is going to be screening at that festival, that date, and that time.
Okay. All right. So it's funny because as you were describing that, it sounded almost like a content creator in social media, because of the fact that, we got to learn how to produce, how to put a show on or put, something out there so that you can get viewership. You're looking for views. You're looking for people to want to not only watch your show, but comment on your show, hit the like button, let the algorithm know that, hey, this is something you want to push through the masses. So that's where, as a content creator, that's one of the things I'm looking at. So I'm saying that the in the festival, there's a content creators on a bigger stage. Basically, that's how I'm seeing it right now. You're not on social media, but at the same time, you're putting your idea on the big screen. So when you're reaching out to someone for fundraising, the fundraiser, someone that's going to donate, what are they donating to? I guess is they're donating to the festival, or they're donating to the producers, the actors. What am I donating to?
So film festivals have different sponsorship and advertising opportunities, no matter if it's an advertisement on the screen, an advertisement in the program, your logo on the step and repeat where all the people take pictures. That's called the step and repeat. Maybe you have a table for marketing where you actually have a company showing off cameras, lighting, sound equipment right at the theater or at a venue that's having, panels and seminars, or the gala, wherever that might be, your logo and link on the website. So all the money goes towards the festival, and it's part of raising money to finance the film festival, because film festivals you have sponsorship, advertising, which is one, the 2 formats of making money. You have film submissions, which is a 3rd way of making money. You have selling passes and tickets, which is the 4th way of making money. And finally, you have, T-shirts, hats. So there's 5 different ways to make money to finance a film festival.
Okay. And we're not talking like Sundance, that's high end, but a low end or a beginner film festival, what's a good, I guess, number to say I need to run this thing? How much would it cost to put on a film festival?
So I guess it depends on how many days you're going to have the festival. It also depends on the cost of the theater or other venues. Sometimes venues will do an in kind where they'll give you the space for free so that, you know what I mean, in exchange to be a sponsor. And it really, it's hard to answer that because it depends on how many days. You know, some festivals have been 5,000 that I've worked on. Some have been 15,000. You know, even more. You know, so it really depends on the location, the different venues, and how many days the film festival has in that will run.
Okay. Yeah. So now you're saying like the theater. So my local movie theater could like close its doors for a film festival, say a 2-day film festival. Or is it another theater that we're talking about?
So depending, again, it depends on where the festival is located. Sometimes the film festivals use hotels. Sometimes they use high schools. They use, like I said, theaters. You know what I mean? It could be a theater. And it depends on how much those venues are going to charge per day.
Okay, yeah. No, that's good. It's good. And I guess if I wanted to volunteer, you just reach out to that festival itself and maybe their website or call whoever and say, "Hey, I want to volunteer." Is that the process? Is that how that works?
Yes, definitely. And it also depends on what, sometimes there can be volunteer, you know, through your college or high school that you do get connected to film festivals and you can volunteer or intern that way. Or you can reach out to the film festival directly and let them know that you're interested in volunteering.
All right. Wow. No, that is good. So I'm dealing with networking. I'm going to the parties. I'm trying to get my foot in the door and this is not so much for the actors. This is more for the like producers or writers, or is it for everybody?
Again, I think, you know, volunteering at a film festival as an actor and volunteering as an actor is a great way to connect with filmmakers to get in films. I mean, you know, you have to look at it that way. You know, when I was in my casting internships, I was in acting then, but I had other actors interning in casting companies because that was a way for them to break in to film and television.
Gotcha. And you mentioned that you learned a lot with Sundance as far as the diversity and inclusion with the industry itself. So what was some of the things that you learned from that?
So I was involved with 4 events put on by the Latino Filmmakers Network, which is based in Los Angeles, California. I also went to a great event put on by the Black House, which is also based in Los Angeles. And, Sundance was, like I said, my second film festival that I learned from. And, independent film nowadays, it's been for years, but in general, independent film beats out Hollywood for diversity and inclusion. And that is, I would say, a realistic statement that independent film does do that and represents the stories of all people and all men and women, no matter Black, white, Latino, Asian, Middle Eastern, LGBT, it doesn't matter, but it's independent film is definitely that focus. Hopefully Hollywood will realize one day that that's how it should be, and everybody deserves the right, and they should be paid equally. And so again, I think Robert Redford, his view and his vision was to create that independent film and that diversity inclusion that hopefully, it will live on and hopefully get better.
Right. Okay. Now I know that a lot of, say, schools and even colleges and all, they're cutting funding to the arts programs. It's not as much in some places. I'm not gonna say it's all places, but what's better if you want to get into the industry? In your opinion, is it private or is it public as far as schools or college? Where should I go? I know you said you're educated. Where do I go and where do I look if I want to get into the industry?
So financially, if you can afford a private school like the New York Film Academy, Full Sail University, Maine Media Workshop, which is in Maine. There's also the Los Angeles Film School, which is really a great school. Those are known for private. Then you have like USC, UCLA, NYU, Emerson College, which is in Boston. Again, these are all incredible programs, but state schools and community colleges offer great programs as well. And, again, just learning, you could also learn on YouTube, right? You could watch different videos on YouTube and not even have to spend thousands of dollars to go to a private or even a public school. So I don't think there's any right or wrong learning how to filmmake. I do think finding a mentor, no matter if being a filmmaker, a screenwriter, want to produce, direct, even, acting, like the mentors that I've met over the years, from producers, talent agents, to people within the industry, have taught me a lot. And, I think, a mentor is another way of looking at it. And it doesn't hurt to research and look up these people and reach out and let them know that you're interested in learning. You never ask somebody for a job. You ask them for advice, or you ask them for information. They're more willing to help you that way. And so, yeah, that would be my answer, is that there's no right way to learn how to filmmake. You just have to make a film. I would start with a short film and then go for your feature after.
Wow. So I guess in your expertise, are you only focusing on film, or have you done other, I guess, arts? Like, I know there's film is one thing, but then you got theater where people are putting on a play. You might have music and all. So have you focused in all of those areas, or you're just focusing on film?
So film festivals, and I've produced a movie premiere. What else? We did a great event in New York City called the Film Stage and Showbiz Expo, which was a great event in Manhattan. So I've done trade shows, conferences, parties, film festivals, but my background, of course, was like I said, theater was my education, and that's where I learned. Theater was really where I started. And music festivals, I've had fun with them. I would love to work on more music festivals. I did work on 3 different ones, 2 in upstate New York and 1 in Los Angeles, which were really fun.
Wow, that's it's I guess it's different because I'm listening to it, and it's putting a program together, like you said, a premiere. So we got this movie that's getting ready to come out, and I guess I'm trying to vision this thing, getting the people in the seats. That's what your part is? Is that what your job is? Getting the people in the seats? I mean, the movie is already produced. It's already getting ready to show. The premiere is tonight, or it's going to be on Friday or whatever. And your job is to get people in the seats. Am I missing something there?
So if it's a movie premiere or a movie screening, I've just recently did a couple movie screenings here where I'm from. So I raised money through sponsorship so we could rent the theater space out. The movie premiere I did in New York City, I was involved with booking the venue for the party, which took place after the premiere, which was an event space. And then that was a great experience. The connection was I made the connection at the Silver Lake Film Festival in Los Angeles. It was a great movie called The Great New Wonderful. And so I helped with the New York City premiere of that film in New York City. And that was a great experience. I haven't really worked on a lot of movie premieres, mostly film festivals and different networking parties, and educational events for the film and acting industries.
Yeah, me personally thinking that the premiere or something like that is where you just give tickets to those who are in the movie, and they can bring their friends and family, and that's what it's, that's how I always visited. I didn't know that there was a more to it as far as, I know the premiere is happening and it's going to be at this theater. It might be, say it's going to come out to the world on that Saturday, but that Friday, that first showing is going to be here. But I thought it was just more for
that is, you are correct on that. That is correct.
Okay, all right. So now, is that what you're doing as far as getting that together, or after the premiere, or maybe I'm missing, maybe I'm confusing the two?
No, I'm only working on one film festival right now. It's the Hip Hop Film Festival, and it's taking place August 20th through the 23rd in New York City. Is what I'm presently working on. Yeah,
and I want to thank Steve. He's out there, your buddy, saying that the interview is awesome. So I appreciate that. Thank you, Steve. Because you don't know, I've never been to a premiere, so I've never been. I know the first viewing of a movie or whatever, you want to be at the first one, and they normally put that one on, say like at 11 o'clock at night before it's going to go live to all the other theaters, and I've seen that, but I've never been to like the after party. So you're saying part of your job is we got the premiere. But then when this is all over, we're going to have a party so we can all get together and talk about the movie.
No, not at all. I was saying I only worked, again, this was back in 2006 when I was involved with the Great New Wonderful premiere in Manhattan. It was at the Angelica Film Center and Cafe. Okay. And that's where it took place. And it was for all the lead actors and their family and friends were there, the director, the distribution company of the movie that asked me to produce the event.
No, that's cool. That right there, now that you're saying it like that, that's another part of, I guess, the industry that a lot of people don't know. Because, you did a great job. You put this together. The movie is now getting ready to go out. But we want to celebrate all the work that you put together. We want to say, congratulations, it's ready, let's go. And they're saying, hey, Eric, can you put me something together, or, for a celebration? Am I missing something? I don't want to.
No, it's the movie screening and then the after party that takes place with dancing and partying. I got you. Yeah.
So now I'm visioning this thing now. The wedding is the movie screening, and you're the reception. You're like after the wedding, you're the reception.
We put on the after party. We had to raise money. There you go.
All right, I'm there. So now that's pretty cool. Now, have you? I guess other than the people that's acting in the movie, do others come? Do you invite other people? Is that normal? Other than, I don't know, like the press, or how do they get involved with that?
Oh, the publicist of the movie invited the press for the film.
Okay, so now that's another area within the film itself where you have the publicist will invite like the press and all of them to come out and to review the movie and then put it out. Okay, all right.
Correct.
So now I remember being in Vegas, and I was there. I was on vacation, but the hotel we was in MGM. So we was in MGM hotel, and they was doing premieres of a new show. So they had like it was a TV show, but they asked us to come in and basically sit through the show and rate it. So is that something that you've done, or that's another part of the industry?
So when I lived in LA, they used to have, it was called, the studios would have their marketing departments have screenings where they would invite an audience to watch the film, and then they would give a review of the film, and it would go back to the studio marketing department. Now that would give them more information to either fix, to edit the film, to make it either shorter, longer, add something more to the film. So that does take place, and it's happened for many years, and that goes through marketing. Also, I'm trying to think what else. Yeah, so that's one aspect of that type of research that the studios offer through marketing and what they do. They pay for that because they need to get and I think television is similar, like you said, because before they put it out on television or they put it out on streaming platforms or in the theaters, they want to make sure they're going to make money. So that's why they do those.
No, that's cool. Now, I've also been to like symphony orchestras, and they're doing the movie is up on the screen, but the orchestra is playing the music to the movie, even though we can watch it, but they're playing the music. So where does that come in? And I guess, is that something that will be at a festival where the musicians that do the sound and the music to it, is that something that will be at a festival?
So usually the film composer who does film and television, like my friend Steve, who's watching our show, he does film composing for film and television. He's very brilliant. So reach out to Steve Pratt. He's based in California. I definitely recommend him if you're a filmmaker watching this podcast. Steve Pratt from California. And music film composer basically will do the sound for a film or a television show.
Okay, all right. So I mean, I'm gonna tell you, I'm on the outside looking in. In my lifetime, I have written one play when I was in college, and it wasn't even a class. It was just about it was a Christmas play that we did because of an organization I was in. It was something I just thought would be nice to do. But it wasn't like something we were sent to a film festival. It wasn't something we were sent to any type of festival. We just did it.
Right.
I was always curious. I have a couple of family members who have been in television and even in the movies. So that's that, but you don't really have that sit down like I'm talking with you now about the ins and the outs of it. There were actors, or they are actors, and they've done that part where they got their agent and they can't even talk to them because they're too big to be talked to, and you can't get them on a show like this because they already have, basically signed their, contracts with other things, so they can't, have this kind of conversation. So it's really good to be able to get some of the ins and the outs about the industry and learn, because sometimes you just don't know. And I know there's a lot of people that's out there that's watching right now and that's going to watch this later that might be thinking about getting themselves into the industry, even if not them, but their kids or whatever. And it's good to know that there's ways to volunteer, to get your foot in the door, and also network in that way. But then at the same time, like say, starting with your local theaters, starting with your middle schools, your high schools, and things like that, and work your way into, if that's something that you desire, that is huge. And if, there's a lot of people that's in band and things like that right now. They're in a high school band or in their middle school bands, and they think that it ends once, I graduate high school and it's over, but that desire to keep playing is still out there, and knowing that they can now reach out to Steve in California and he can help them maybe get their foot in the door in the theater area. So maybe that's another avenue. So I definitely want to thank you for sharing and opening up those doors, because it's the industry is huge. Every year we get meeting or movie after movie after movie, and I know, like you say, even the independent filmmakers trying to get themselves started. It's a lot that a lot of people just don't know. We just don't know, and we need people like you. So, Eric, how can we get in touch with like you if we ever wanted to learn any more?
So actually, I don't know if I still have time, but I wanted to relay some websites that people should definitely check out.
Time. No, we got time. Go ahead.
Okay, perfect. So if you're looking to get involved in entertainment, there's a great website called entertainmentcareers.net. Again, that's entertainmentcareers.net. Like, they have different jobs within the entertainment industry. There's also showbizjobs.com. Again, that's showbizjobs.com. Productionhub.com is a great website, and productionhub.com. For filmmakers, filmfreeway.com, which I mentioned before, and that's where you submit your films. Another great platform is Stage 32, which is a great platform to meet actors, filmmakers, directors, writers from all around the world. And that's Stage 32. And if you're based in California and Las Vegas, I recommend the Info List. So that's infolist.com. That's a great site. They do different events surrounding the Oscars, the Emmys, the Golden Globes. They also do different panel seminars, networking events. It's a film festival, submissions, film festivals. And again, that's only focused in the West Coast. And I did want to go over some really important groups. And let me just get all these groups. Hold on. I have this information. Okay. Good. So let's see. I think if I am correct. Okay. So in New York, you have New York Women in Film and Television. The Women in Film and Television is all around the United States. They're also in Atlanta. They're in New England. They're in Chicago. They're in Los Angeles. So that's the Women in Film and Television. And you just type in New York, Atlanta. In New York City, you have Black Film Space, which is a great organization for Black filmmakers, writers, producers, directors, actors. You also have in Los Angeles, the Latino Filmmakers Network. You have Black House. You have Filmmaker Alliance, also in Southern California. And then I have one in DC, which is close to you. Hold on one second. Oh, man. Oh, okay. So you have Filmmakers Alliance. Women Film and Video is in DC. They're also in DC. And then you have the final one I wanted to let you guys know is Filmmakers Collaborative, which is in Massachusetts, besides Women Film and Television New England.
All right.
So those are really great sites and organizations to start your networking and get further in your hobby or your careers.
No, and I appreciate you putting that out there. And what we're going to do is we're going to have Eric definitely email me that list if you don't mind, and we'll add it to the description on this show here, this episode, so that if you just look into the description, you will definitely see those different links that Eric just provided for us. So if you have that desire to get into the industry or learn more about the industry, you can go to any one of those or all of those links, and that will help you get yourself more involved. Recently, Eric, I'm just talking and maybe just give us some insight for those who don't know. I think and I want to say, was it the screenwriters was on strike in California and things like that? Is that something that you deal with? Is that just I'm just more. I know that they
don't deal with any of the strikes or the unions. I mean,
Right,
I promote the unions. I think they're wonderful and they do a great job supporting, the writers, the actors, the producers, the directors, the cinematographers, makeup, costumes. Like, the unions are very important, and they do a really great job to support their clientele.
Now, because I guess I was questioning that because I can take it and I can imagine that the industry is real close knit with each other. If you're in the industry, once you get in, you're like family. It's like one big family. So having support and people to look out for you and take care of you, that's an important part for, like I say, there's so many pieces of this puzzle that people don't realize that if it was missing, you would know 100%. Like you said, the behind the scenes, even the people, the camera people, the lighting and all of that, you would know if they wasn't there. And we should, so is that why it's important to have like unions and things like that, even at the smaller level, or is that once you make it big, you need to be in a union? Or do you know anything about that?
Again, I'm not part of the union involvement, but I just know that it's important if you want to go that route, it is important. I think the unions will say offer a lot of great opportunities depending on the career that person takes. Also education, they provide a lot of education. And I think all the unions work together as a team to make a perfect production of film and television.
Okay. No, and I appreciate your honesty on that. I'm not trying to put you on the spot in any kind of way. It was just more, trying to get a little bit more understanding, because I know what we hear a lot is you got an actor and the actor got an agent, and the agent, call my agent. You want me to get in this show, call my agent. But it's way more to it than just that. And I think that a lot of times people don't know. And because of that, that's how they get caught up in and really get taken advantage of it sometimes, because they just don't know the ins and outs. And so part of what, having you up here is like giving me some of the insight to, if I want to get in. The websites are perfect. So that was great. Great way to help me get in. I just, it's like, is it worth it? Am I going to have some time? Like you said, when you go and ask a person for a donation and they tell you no, you're going to hear a whole lot of no's. So you can't quit just because you heard no. You got to keep going. Yeah.
But back to like an actor or a A-list actor or a celebrity, they don't just have a talent agent. They have a talent manager. They have a business manager. They have entertainment lawyers. They have publicists. So the actor is the head of the corporation. The actor or the celebrity is the CEO and has everybody working under them.
Wow. Sort
of like that great show that Mark Wahlberg did, Entourage.
Okay. Yeah. I remember that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's, I guess that's, again, we don't know what we don't know. And sometimes you think it's all, like I say, the bright lights and, the red carpet and your star and your names, you're going to be on billboards and things like that. But there's a lot of behind the scenes. There's a lot of grind to get you to that level. And they keep you at that level because it's not, you could one day, I see when I go to New York City, sometimes I see on a street sign that they're going to be filming Law and Order. So Law and Order is going to be here at this time. And I guess that's to tell me to get out the street. It's like we're going to be filming a 1 minute episode, or we're going to be filming a piece of this, and we don't want you to be in the way. So we're going to be blocking traffic and this and that. So that's, a lot of times I've seen that sign, but I've never seen them actually doing the filming. So I'm intrigued, though. I always wanted to know, how does it work when they block the street, or when they say we need extras, and this and that. So how all that works. I always wanted to know. So thank you.
Yeah, no worries.
It's okay. So I see Steve putting comments in the comments section. So we want to thank him also for hanging out with us. He said Entourage is film industry must see. Okay. So, and then, so if you were giving advice to someone out there listening right now that was thinking, what's the one big word what advice would you give somebody that's willing or ready to get into the industry?
First, to understand what they want to do within the industry and sort of come to that conclusion, but it's okay to take different routes within the industry. You know what I mean? Like, if they want to become a producer, it's good to understand lighting, sound, costumes, become a PA and work your way up the system. If you want to become an actor, start out as do extra work, maybe do college films and try to get lead roles in college films. Find a great acting coach, constantly read plays, go and do scenes, I think interning, again, volunteering are great ways to, work your way up in the entertainment system. And then don't be afraid to network with other people within the industry. If you're an actor, reach out to the filmmakers that are in film festivals, actually attend the film festivals and hand them your headshot, because you never know where that film will lead to. And like I think I mentioned what we talked about, the casting director Mally Finn, when she gave me that quote for the Youth Actors Expo when I did in LA. It's not about money or fame. It's about the process of acting. Do it because you love acting, not because how much money you're going to make from it or how famous you become. That's really not the point. And that's, from Mally Finn giving me that quote in my program right here next to me, that says a lot. She was one of the top casting directors of all time.
No, and that's and I appreciate you sharing that. And yeah, you did we talked about that before we came on the show. So for those who are like, what are you talking about? I never heard nothing about Molly Flynn.
Mally Finn.
But with that being said, is you gotta have the passion. You gotta love what you're doing. If you're coming in here looking at it as it's just a job or whatever, I don't know if it'll make you burn out, but people can see that. You can look at a good actor or a producer or even a writer, and you can say they put their heart into that scene. They put their heart into that whole production. And then, even in music, you could tell when it's like, wow, they're really into the music. They really into it. So those are the things that for me as an outsider looking in, that I look for when I'm watching a film, when I'm watching an actor, when I'm watching the production itself. Even like you're saying, some of I would say the after. I don't see so much of the after, but it's the previews. The previews that they like. It bothers me when I see a preview and it's better than the movie. I'm like, you put a lot in this preview and it wasn't even none of that was in this movie. So I was like, what happened? And sometimes we get caught up in the money, we get caught up in the budget, we have to cut certain things out and this and that. And again, a lot of people, and I'm being one of them, just don't know all the ins and outs that it take to make this, that make it successful. And even to a point of a festival, getting all of that together, and even fund the festival so that young artists, young producers, young this and that can have a stage to get themselves noticed and get their information out there. So again, Eric, I want to say thank you for what you're doing and the passion that I can tell by talking to you and the knowledge you have. There's a passion. You're not just, it's just I don't even know if it's your 9 to 5. Is this what you do is this how you pay your bills? Is this your 9 to 5?
It's what I've been doing on and off for many, many years. I guess it's been more of a passion, love. I don't consider it a hobby because I've made money from it. Mm-hmm. So whatever you make money from, no matter if it's a lot or a little, you that's more than a hobby. You know what I mean? So it took me a lot of different internships over the years growing up to get to where I'm at now. And again, as we talked about, I don't, regards to success, my definition of success is not how much money I make. It's what I've accomplished, what adds to the resume. You know what I mean? What's the next thing after, as Jay-Z says, on to the next, right? On to the next, right? Yeah. So it's not about it. That's, keep on building, keep on growing, keep on learning, keep on giving back. I think that's the true meaning of success. And I think I learned that from my mentors is, being humble is worth $1 million, right? Don't talk about it. Just do it.
Just do it.
Action.
No, that's what's up right there. And Steve in the chat said Eric is so humble. So you're living by that right there. Right? That's one of the things he said about you. So he's so humble. He said what folks need to know about Eric is he's has vast knowledge of the film and music areas. He is so generous with his time, especially if he since folks are in the past. So let's see. I'm just gonna put it up there so you can see it where it says. But just think of that, yeah. So that's great that even the people that that's in the industry speak so high of you and the things that you do. So So that's what's up. So thanks, Steve, and I thank you, Eric. I really do. I thank you for being a guest on the Iron Sharpening Iron Show. I want to definitely talk to you a little bit more after this once we close out.
Okay.
For those who are out there, and we say thank you for tuning in tonight for the Iron Sharpening Iron Show. Happy Easter again to you all. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. And we ask you to tune in for more of Iron Sharpening Iron in the near future and all the other shows that come in under the Iron Sharpening Iron universe. If you haven't already hit that like button, hit the like button. If you haven't hit the subscribe button, hit that subscribe button. We are on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch, and we will make cuts of this and put shorts out there on Instagram and TikTok in the very near future. But Eric, I want to say thank you again for all your knowledge, your passion, and helping me have a better understanding of the industry, the film festivals, and just how, if I wanted to get my foot in there, what I needed to do and what I can do. So until next time, we ask you to stay sharp, and we'll talk to you later. And until then, peace. Thank you. Hold on.
Bye.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
bye-bye.